the Sons of Malice. Black and white. The hardest of contrast and also one that is not so easy to pull off. So how can we approach these guys without making them look boring? And how can we add a tiny amount of color into them without going off lore? The black and white contrast can help us here to have the slightest nuance of color really pop in the end. But enough talk, let's start. I figured that the easiest way to start was giving the entire miniature a hint of blue. So I started covering the entire marine with Corvus black. This slightly bluish off black is the perfect color for these guys in my opinion. For the parts that were dedicated to be white, which is mostly depicted to be the marine's left leg and right side of the torso, I went on with dark sea blue as an undercoat. And for the parts that were hard to reach, I used a brush. After that I started wet blending cold grey right onto the dark sea blue and it started looking very neat here. Using a sponge helps us to give this marine a very smooth finish in the end, which I personally think does fit the Sons of Malice very well. There are other Chaos Space Marine legions and warbands that not really need that neatness. When the cold grey was dry, I went on with wolf grey, once again sponging it onto the dedicated areas. And by the way, I would like to encourage you to leave a like or a subscription as we are getting closer to 1,500 subscribers here. And especially if you like chaos content, I will do more of that. Covering all the games, Age of Sigmar, 40k and 30k. When I was done, I wanted to pull this armor together. So I painted all the silvery parts with dark silver by Pro Acryl. This is the step where we have to be very neat once again, so not to spill onto the white armor parts especially. It's especially the white armor parts because the black ones are easier to fix. The color matching on the white ones can be a little bit tricky. So let's best avoid that right from the start. So I cover all the trims, bolter, chainmails and whatever other parts a marine has with dark silver. When it's done, I shade it with dark enough nightshade because I want to have the slightest hint of blue in here. A slight hint of blue keeps the overall feel of the miniature cold, but also adds color to it, making it not appear boring. I like to keep the theme up here and paint the eyes with Vallejo's Turquoise. To bring a more or less complementary color into it, I painted the stashes and straps with dark rust and a bit of burnt red, also to give it a bit of color variation. A little bit of brown does fit very well with the blue we used up until this point. And if you made it up until this point, I want to make you aware of my Lord and Savior, Patreon, where some amazing people already decided to support me, which makes me very grateful. Thanks a lot. But now, back to the show. If your marine has a bit of loincloth hanging around somewhere, I recommend painting it with dark sea blue to keep the theme of this blue going on. I weathered it down with the browns I used before to give it some texture and highlight it with a mix of dark sea blue and wolf grey, which I just stipple on the most raised parts. To finish the eyes, I just used a pure white. Mixing a bit of wolf grey into the browns to achieve this light brown or maybe even bone-like color to edge highlight the stashes. I somehow missed the horns out of no particular reason, but it's basically the same thing as with the leathers. For the last step, I just roughly edge highlight the trims and other metallics with bright silver. I picked out some defining features like the skulls on his chest, the shoulders and the bolt weapon and gave them a coat of dark bronze. If this very short tutorial helped you, I would be very thankful for a like or a subscription. And of course, thank you for watching and we are going to see each other in the next one.